Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the live Late Show right there. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight is a three-term Congresswoman and is the youngest woman ever to serve in the House of Representatives. Please welcome back to the Late Show, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, were you at the convention center earlier this evening?
Yes, and when the balloons dropped, we booked it over here so fast.
Well, thank you for making it. Tonight, Vice President Harris made history and shared a vision, I'll get this quote right, a vision of America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world that here anything is possible. The nomination, this one, is a meaningful step for America. What does it personally mean to you?
You know, when I was about 9 years old, I watched a lot of Star Trek with my dad. And we used to watch this series. It was Star Trek Voyager. And the reason I bring this up is because this was the first ship with a female captain.
Captain Janeway.
Captain Janeway, by the great Kate Mulgrew. And I remember this was something that was very important growing up, and my dad felt it very important for me to watch this because he wanted me to see an example of a woman in leadership. And when I was a kid, the only example of that was in science fiction. And today represents a day where it has become our reality. It's not science fiction anymore. We will have the first woman president of the United States in November.
It must be a relief because you were one of the people nervous about Biden dropping out. In fact, you said this, I want to get this right. You said, if you think that there is a consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. Have you ever been happier to be wrong?
Ecstatic, 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 ecstatic.
You didn't think this would necessarily happen?
No, and I think it is important that this was not predestined, this was not predetermined. The Vice President Harris earned this nomination through her grit, through her politics, through every bit of hard work. But as we know, especially as women, particularly as women of color, you have to scrap every single moment until the very end, and she did that tonight.
I also, you know, Joe Biden has gotten a lot of praise this week, and I just don't think we can praise him enough for the courageous and patriotic decision that he made. You know, when George Washington got to the end of his second term and willingly set down his office, King George said, quote, if he does that, he will be the greatest man in the world. And no one since Washington has laid down this office in quite the same way by his own volition. LBJ did it, but much earlier on and in the face of a war.
Yes, yes.
What do you have to say about President Biden's choice?
I think similarly to George Washington, President Biden did this in order to not just establish, but preserve American democracy. And I think it is one of the largest acts of political selflessness that we may see in our entire lives. And he deserves an enormous amount of credit for the kind of character that it takes to do that. And I say that as well because it wasn't just an act of selflessness. It was an act of, it is a risk, right? You don't know. There is uncertainty about what is going to happen. And the weight of that, I can only imagine what was on his shoulders in that. And so to make that decision, we owe all of what we've just experienced in large part to his decision and his choice.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Stick around.